Genvieve, before we completely forgot to talk about the topic today.
We have topics. We also forgot the call-in number, guys. The call-in number is 323-203-0815, and you are more than welcome to call in with questions, comments, and your woes.
And then we have an email address, too, that if people want to call in, if they want to email the show as well.
That's right. It's info@latalkradio.com, and every now and then we will read email questions online. Also, if you go to Facebook, we have a Hottie Help group, and there are often discussions and questions that people bring up.
That people can interact. And Genvieve, why don't you tell us what is the topic for today?
Yes, a woman's safety on a day-to-day basis, and we are going to touch on ways that you can protect your children as well.
I think that's great, and it was Genvieve's idea today, so we thought, let's just run with
back
it.
Off.
It's wonderful.
That's her thing, man.
All right, here we go.
And the thing that I wanted to get is obviously the car culture is a very male environment.
Absolutely.
So how do you kind of move through that male environment?
Yeah, it's about 99.9% male, definitely. I realized that. When I got the call from ESPN, I did realize that there weren't very many women covering automotive and motorsports. So I was going to be watched pretty closely, probably tested out a bit. Because of that, I knew that I was going to have to be cautious, and smart about the way I conducted myself. And I'll tell you, my gut feeling was right. The first day. Oh yeah, first day on the job.
Ricky Bobby came up and hit on
That's a great movie, by the way.
Oh, isn't it? Is it pretty true? It runs pretty true. You're like sitting there going, "Wow, these guys are pretty." Somewhat.
Was it an adjustment for you to be working in that male-dominated environment?
All in all, I'm pretty much a tomboy at heart. I've always been involved in sports, so it was an adjustment for me.
Okay.
But
for the guys.
But for them.
From an aesthetic point of view, I'm very female, and I do realize that. So I knew I was going to have to prove myself, and I was pretty much... when I got on location...
Did they make you change a tire just to see
No, but I would understand that, because it's almost like you have to doubly prove yourself.
Yes,
One,
you're
a woman, and two, you're a very striking-looking woman, so it's all the more that you have to prove that you know what you're talking about,
right,
and that
so
you're
they
capable.
don't think okay, cheesecake, whatever.
Right.
Definitely, and I saw that look in their eyes. My first day on location, I'm out in Tennessee. I walk to the trailer to meet the crew and the guys I'd be working with, and by and large, all the guys were really nice. But then I had these two other groups. You had the guys that were kind of around my age that were right away trying to hit on me, so I was up against that.
Right.
But then you had, the veterans, the guys that have earned a lot of respect in this business, and they definitely had that tight-lipped, who's this tall blonde bimbo, what does she know about automotive?
Almost resentful.
Very resentful, even ignored me a bit. And, it was okay, because I thought, well, by the end of the day, they'll observe me, and they'll respect me.
And you'll prove them wrong.
Right.
So
take them down a peg.
Yeah.
Yeah. What ways did you feel like you had to be maybe even cautious around them, or...
I knew that I was going to have to prove myself and earn their respect in three main ways. That was going to be through my conduct, my speech, and my demeanor. And that's exactly what I did. It was very successful. It's still successful till today. And that's why I wanted to talk about these things.
Yeah, because everybody.
it's
not just, Genvieve on a car show. The three things you mentioned were conduct,
your speech, and your demeanor.
And those are things that gals that are listening to Hottie Help can take with them in everyday situations.
Yes, everyday situations. And share this with your young ones. Share this with your daughters, with your granddaughter, with your sister, because they can use these same things at school or when they're out and about. The same suggestions will apply. So we're going to try to get through about 5 today.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, now, when you were out there on the racetrack, were you intimidated or scared by the guys that were not responding positively to you, that were ignoring you, or making you feel like, you didn't know what you were talking about, or you weren't supposed to be there because they didn't think that you had the prerequisites to be there?
I pretty much went in with a mental frame of mind that I knew I was going to be working with all males. And just from what I had observed in the business already...
Well, not only all males, it's males at a super high testosterone level.
Absolutely.
There's NASCAR and cars, and then there's prison. I mean, seriously, like they've done studies, the testosterone level. So you are like guy land. You know, it's not like you're working with a lot of guys in the fashion industry guys. No, you're in car land.
Definitely.
And it's also, I mean, here's somebody who's
and even
very,
the attendees.
Oh, that's right. The guys that are coming.
Yeah.
And I wonder, how did the women that were in the audience and the women that are out there, how did they respond to you as well, too?
And that's the other thing.
you know,
some of the executive producers did have their wives there that work alongside them. Some of the race car drivers have, and they will watch you. And you know what? I'll tell you something, and this goes in all businesses. If they don't like you, they'll get you out. So I knew I had to earn their respect as well. I had to make sure that, and you know, I'm telling you, you don't do that by a lot of times sucking up to these people. That's not the way to do it. Of course, you want to be nice and pleasant. You do it through your conduct. They're going to observe you.
Yeah, professional conduct.
Yes.
Your professionalism and how you do your job and how you relate professionally to the other people around you, the men and the women.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey guys, I have a call coming in. I'm going to grab this call here.
Absolutely.
Let's check it out. Hello there. You are on the air. Hottie Help. Welcome, caller.
Hi there. I have a question for Genvieve. I thought it was really interesting what you're saying about conduct, speech, and demeanor.
Yes.
In terms of like trying to do this properly. Now, what does that really mean? I mean, does that mean just being? Are you talking about just being polite, or are you trying to? You know, does it mean don't wear anything that shows off your boobs too much?
Right.
I mean, what does that really mean?
Good point, because that is some of the things we're going to get into. We're going to get into 5 ways that you can protect yourself. One of them is your dress and your grooming. Your speech, the things you may laugh at, the conversation that you decide to get involved in,
That's an interesting
things like that. So your questions actually will be answered, but yes, all of the above.
If you have a slovenly posture and you're poorly groomed.
Well, no, not
it's
exactly.
not so much of that.
No, it's not so much of that.
That word always that's like such a, like to me, a grade school, like have
Slovenly.
good grooming.
But
how
I think,
you groom.
Yeah, I think what the caller is asking is how you present yourself. That if you're in a work environment, because we're talking about everyday life, and most people go to work every day, that you have to present yourself with an air of professionality.
Yes.
Well, I really like the choice you said about what you laugh at or what you discard. Like if somebody says something overtly sexual, do you just find you just ignore it? And
well, see, that's a good question. That's what I would want to know. I'm sure that's what the caller wants to know, is what do you do when you're with coworkers or people and then they engage in a conversation that you feel uncomfortable with?
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If I could, like for example, I mean, you guys are talking about the car shows, and and obviously, as you said, you're kind of like the lone female in this very testosterone-heavy environment,
Right.
And obviously they're going, they'll be talking about whatever they want to talk about, and it's like, do they kind of try to play with you? It's like, oh, let's see if she can kind of keep up with the boys.
Yes, exactly. They sure
and
do.
It's like, and it's like, what's how do you
so
balance
which
that
way
out?
you
How do you
go?
balance it out between
Which
like
way
being
do
a
you
good
go?
sport and at the same time not getting yourself in a position where it's like, boy, I really don't want to be in this conversation.
yeah, because you don't want to come off like, oh.